Today on episode 80, our Curtis Conway episode of Typical Chicago Fans, we have Sinkers and Floaters, the Sports Minute, our local legends interview, our local food spotlight, the NFL Pick Show, two new segments today. We got Bad Beats and Time Travelers. Let's roll. Hello and welcome to episode 80 of Typical Chicago Fans. It's me, your boy Boomy, on Twitter at BoomyTCF. Make sure to follow the main page at Typical_Chicago. Facebook and Instagram page, go to those sites. Just type in Typical Chicago Fans and like those pages and follow us there. Head on over to the YouTube page, subscribe for all of our content in video form. Make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts and follow on Spotify, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. I do have to check. I heard that Amazon has a new podcast service. I got to check and see if we're on there. If you already have checked.
You got to get on that. I was going to mention that.
That's yes, huge. I just heard that was a thing today, so I got to check on that. But make sure to follow my guy here tonight. It's just me and Maddie. Maddie's on Twitter at schools_01. Make sure you give him a follow. And make sure to check out our friends over at 26shirts.com Chicago. Head on over to their website, 26shirts.com/Chicago, to check out some of the coolest Chicago sports merchandise in town. They've got everything from shirts and hoodies and hats and all flags and everything you may need. Head on over, like I said, head to their website, find the product or products that you love. Check and at checkout, use the promo code Typical Chicago Fans for 15% off of your order. 15%. Not only is it 15% off of a great quality shirt, but it's also going to a good cause. They help out local charities. And if you love our show, you love great Chicago merch, like I said, 26shirts.com/Chicago. Pick out some great items and make sure to use the promo code Typical Chicago Fans for 15% off. You cannot go wrong. Maddie, did you get your 26shirts.com shirt?
It's in. It's awesome. I love it. I wore it all day yesterday, so I'm not wearing it right now. So it's in the hamper to be washed again, so I can wear it this weekend, I'm sure. But,
absolutely.
The one thing I'll say, if you got friends in other cities, check out the other lines, the other cities they have. They've got other really cool shirts from other cities outside of Chicago as well. So check that stuff out too. They got really cool slew of shirts there.
And like I said, 15% off. You can't go wrong. Helps out a good cause, and the merch is sick. I've got probably 4 or 5 shirts from them, and they're amazing. They're some of the best fitting shirts I've ever owned. So make sure you check out 26shirts.com Chicago. Matt, it's just me and you. It's the as Zach called us, the over 30 club tonight. How we doing, bud?
Taking ricochet shots. I mean, come on. Who's the one that can't keep up? Come on, dude. What's going on?
That's all right. I think I was looking through in total, me and Zach have done
79
well
shows.
Over 100. Yeah, 79 since we were with the sports. We did like 30 before that. And then obviously I don't even want to count all the daily shows. This is the first time we haven't had Zach, so we missed Zach tonight. But me and Maddie are going to get.
What was number 80 again? I got to hear what was number 80. I missed that when you started.
Curtis Conway.
Curtis Conway. Okay, thank you. That's what I was hoping.
Now, he was like late 90s Bears, wasn't he?
Mid-90s, dude. He was right by my wheelhouse as a kid. Yeah, I think he was a 90. It was a 94 season when him and Jeff Graham, or no, it was 95 season when him and Jeff Graham went for 1,000 yards each.
Oh, wow.
Eric Kramer at quarterback. Rashawn Salam was the running back, rookie of the year that year out of Colorado. Had a fumbling problem, had a little bit of a marijuana issue later on in his career that kind of knocked him out of the NFL, but he was one of my favorite players. I loved him at Colorado. He was a stud in college. When the Bears drafted him, that was the first NFL jersey I got was Rashawn Salam. So
really,
yeah.
I would not have guessed that. That name just doesn't resonate. That's a little too early for me. But was Conway with the Jets at one point?
Yes.
Okay, that's where I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was a good receiver for the Bears, dude. He was really good. I think he was like
I was looking
number 7 pick, I believe.
Oh wow. Yeah, obviously my brain gets a little scattered, so when I see names I have to do a little bit of research. And yeah, the dude could play, man. I remember that name very very
pretty
specific.
Sure he was like really heavily involved in like charitable stuff after football in Chicago too. I'm pretty sure.
Right on.
So, heard really good things about him.
Very cool. We got a loaded show tonight, so let's jump right into it. Sinkers and Floaters. I'll start off with my sinker, Maddie, and that is monkeys. Monkeys are probably in my top 3 favorite animals. I don't know what it is. I find primates hilarious. I love going to the zoo. And like one of my all-time favorite animals is like a silverback gorilla because there's just some weird like connection that we have as humans to silverback gorillas. I don't know what it is. But in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, a student had their cell phone stolen while they were sleeping. And so they tracked it down, using like Map My Phone or Find My Phone or whatever app. And to find out, it had actually gotten stolen by a monkey. And the monkey somehow, with its nimble fingers, was able to manipulate the camera and actually took selfies with this camera.
That's awesome.
At that point, don't you just have to let the monkey keep the phone? Like they've done the head work.
You lose.
Yeah, that's that monkey's phone now, dude. Like, just go get a new phone. Like, let the guy keep it.
Yeah, fair as square.
But hey,
what's the saying? Like, possession is 9/5 ownership or whatever.
Yeah,
9/5
of the law.
Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, I can't even talk right now, apparently. But no, you knew what I was getting at. You knew
exactly
what I was speaking of. Thank you very much.
That's hilarious. I didn't even think about that one. But yeah, I think that if you're in an area where there's like wild monkeys, like keep your phone under wraps. Like lock your book up maybe because they can definitely do that.
You got that iPhone 10, you better watch out too.
Yeah, that monkey's
hot in the streets, hot in the trees with the monkeys, dude. You gotta watch out.
If they're listen, there's some, Planet of the Apes movies. And if these monkeys get advanced, we might be in for a treat because if they're operating cell phones already, who Lord knows what they can do.
Totally off topic. I've heard the word monkeys though before we started recording today, no less than 20 times today.
What?
I was at home working with my kid, and he's big into Toy Story right now, and so we were watching Toy Story 3, the one with Lotso, and they're in the daycare, and there's the monkey that's got the symbols that's running security. He's running the camera, and when Woody's getting advice from the phone on how to get through, get out of the daycare place with all the rest of the crew. He says, "Get rid of the monkey," like in this threatening ass tone. It's outstanding. My kid was saying that all day long.
Oh my God!
So I'm dying the whole day. So now you're bringing up. It's just totally sidebar. I know I'm way off track here, but had to throw that out there because monkeys, although real, are also crazy in Toy Story 3 as well.
Absolutely. Man, I don't know if I've heard monkeys even this much in a conversation in a long time, let alone you 2 times a day.
It was a 2-year-old. They hear one phrase that makes somebody laugh, and it's like, look out because you're going to hear that thing nonstop all day. So,
yikes!
He was doing the voice too.
It's going to be burned into your brain all weekend.
For sure.
Right on. What is your stinker, Maddie?
Sinker is, and I'm not going to out the name of the company because it's a company that I do business with personally, and I'm also they're also a customer of mine in my work life outside of this podcast as well. Unfortunately, I do have a day job, and one of my day job customers is also one of my own personal vendors, I guess you would say, for my own stuff. But I got a check back in the mail from them today for 1 cent.
Oh my God.
$0.01.
Don't waste my time.
It came in an envelope stamped with a full price stamp of 42 cents or whatever it is. So they paid 42 cents to mail me 1 cent. I know they have to. I know the auditors, the regulators, if they start racking away 1 cent from me and then 1 cent from a million other people, that's obviously, starts becoming a very, very high price laundering scheme. That we've seen in Office Space and in a lot of other matches, I guess. But no, so they got to do it. I get it. But it's like all that work. And now I've got to deposit it. I have to. I can mobile deposit the 1 cent, so it's no work for me. And now I got to run it back through your auditors and through your accountants for 1 cent check. So let's use some logic. Let's figure out a way to just donate it to charity or something like that. And
there's got to be a better way.
There's got to be some way. So I know they have to do it, and I don't want to out them. That's why I didn't mention any names.
Right.
But
they're doing the right thing, but at the same time,
check is just a little much here. Come on.
Yeah, like you said, put them all together, donate to a charity, move on.
Yeah, you do that to whatever 1 cent out of you say 100,000 is what $1,000 or is at $10,000. I can't do the math.
You're not. You're asking the wrong guy to do.
There's no way that's gonna happen. So we'll say $1,000. But hey,
this show would last an
to a
extra
local
20
charity
minutes.
off of an extra penny here and there. But,
Exactly. My floater, on the other hand, or no, yep, I'm right. My floater is nuns, like the sister nuns at church nuns, and that's because the Chicago Marathon got canceled, and nearly all marathons have gotten canceled for obviously COVID reasons. But shout out to Sister Stephanie Belia, who kept her promise to run the race. She completed the race. And donated all the money that was, put to her to the charity that she was representing. And she did this not out on the streets, not on the sidewalk. She did this on a treadmill. So shout out to Sister Stephanie Belia in Chicago. Was supposed to run the marathon. She could have just said, you know what, I'm good. We'll get them next year. No, she set up a treadmill in the basement of the church and knocked out her 26.2 miles. So that's impressive.
That's pretty sick. That's awesome. That's very cool.
I don't have that kind of dedication. Like, I would be like, oh, we'll get this one next year, guys. We'll just roll the money into the next one. I'm not running 2 marathons.
Absolutely not. There's no way.
So shout out, sister.
Mine's gonna be a little more personal, my floater today, and it's my wife being a college student. She's in a grad program, so she's a college student. With her being a college student, I get discounts on things. 2 big things I get discounts on. MLB at bat, I get that for what I think I got it for $70 for the whole year. And then I signed up for the DirecTV Sunday ticket package last week with a college email. It was $100 for every out-of-market NFL game for $100 for the season. So kudos to her. She's staying in college forever if that's all it takes for me to get discounts on stuff like that. That was huge. Turned on all the games last weekend. Going to do it obviously again this week. Third TV's down in the basement again, so it's going to be beautiful.
So not only do you not have to take the classes, but you get the benefit of the discount. So what a saint Maggie is.
Yes, and it works really well when you have the same first initial and your emails are like M Schoolfield, so there's not even any suspicion that's arised then.
Exactly. And then if anybody comes knocking, just be like, no, dude, my wife loves
big football fan,
she loves to have it on while she studies. Yeah, that woman's going to end up with like 3 doctorate degrees because you're not going to let her finish school so you could get
I know. If her work keeps paying for degrees and we keep getting discounts out of it, why not?
Heck yeah, man. It's a win-win situation. So
that's right.
Let's move in. As we've talked about in the past, Monday through Thursday, we run our daily show where we cover all sorts of sports topics. So make sure you go check those out. Check us out during the weekdays. They're maybe 20 to 30 minutes max. Very rarely do we go over, so make sure you check those out. But we have to get into it. We got to talk some sort of sports. So let's jump right into it, Maddie. The NBA Finals are fast approaching. We are in the conference finals of both leagues. We're recording this Friday night. We had the Lakers take down the Nuggets pretty bad, about 18 points tonight. We've got the Heat with a 2-0 series lead over the Celtics. And there's something I wanted to bring up, and I got to give a shout out to my boss and coworker, Coach Hansen. He was pointing out, and I know you're not going to like this because I'm not sure you like the guy, Maddie, but look at John Calipari's reach in this Final Four teams, left in the NBA. You could really put together a very good team with the guys that he's got that are still playing in the Final Four of the NBA.
I don't hate Calipari. I don't like Kentucky in general. I like the hashtag BBN makes me want to throw up every time I see it on Twitter.
I agree.
I despise Kentucky, but I don't hate Calipari, if that makes any sense.
I understand.
But I don't know, man. It's one of those things. It's like he's what he is.
Yeah.
Right?
He's never claimed to be anything else.
Right. So if you know what you're gonna get out of, he's going to be that little the salesman. So take him for what he is.
Yep.
Outside of that, his ability as a recruiter at the college level at this point, it's obviously it's apparent.
When he's ready to go away, he will go down as the greatest recruiter next to John Wooden, probably in
well, I think probably way better than Wooden because Wooden had the benefit of no internet.
Yeah, that's true.
The benefit of of no publicity elsewhere, it was UCLA or nothing.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, as much as there is with Duke, but there's Kentucky, Duke, Carolina, Kansas, Arizona. A lot of those schools are in on every blue chipper every year. Michigan State's in on a ton of them. They got the best one coming out next year, the junior, the kid, I can't remember his name. God, that's gonna drive me nuts. Super good player.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, kind of thin, but gonna be like kind of a Kevin Durant looking type player.
But yeah, you nailed it, man. His ability to, and even like I was talking, like I said, to the guy I work with, and he's like, I didn't realize, Bam, that's had such an impact on the team.
Dude, he's a stud.
And you never heard about him in college.
Well, I did because Carolina was recruiting him heavily, and they didn't get him. He was like basically one of those guys that was like a lock to go to Carolina and didn't. So I was like paying attention to him a lot, and then. So in college, he was good, but he wasn't like outstanding. He didn't he wasn't there.
You wouldn't have picked him as a difference maker in a.
Yeah, and I can't remember. I think it was Malik Monk was the best. Monk and the little guard.
Was that
De'Aaron Fox? I think they were the two better. I remember this. I believe those were the two guards when Adebayo was at Kentucky, but he was like kind of not necessarily at the forefront of that team. That dude is one of Miami's best players, man. And that block at the end of the game on Tatum, oh my God.
Yeah. I haven't seen anything like that in a long time.
That was a play like a real goddamn man. Like, that was just, here's a block. You're going up for a dunk. Tatum went around two guys with ease. And then all of a sudden, Adebayo just comes out of nowhere, just throws it right back in his face. It was outstanding.
It's incredible.
He's got good touch. He's like an 80% free throw shooter too.
Yeah, something you don't expect. I mean,
like 7-footer. It's nuts.
Good player, man. I gotta correct myself. I thought that the Lakers game was over. It was just at a timeout.
It's over, for all intents and purposes.
They're up 22 with 6 minutes to go in the fourth.
Yeah.
But I just have the feeling. Oh yeah, and which is weird because they haven't dominated any game one so far when they've come out. So
this has been just an absolute slashing. Like they just drag the Nuggets up and down. It's all in the first, all since the first, I should say. The Nuggets had like 40-some. I think had 42 points in the first quarter, if I remember correctly.
38.
They had a 2-point lead. I think early in the second then. And then it was just like all downhill from there.
It has been a bloodbath since then. Even as we speak, like I said, 6 minutes ago, Anthony Davis, 37, 10, and 4.
Lakers up to 115 points already. Oh my God.
LeBron's played 30 minutes, has 15 points, 12 assists. They're rolling right now. I think we're going to see the Lakers and the Heat, but I think that Eastern Conference series is going to get I don't think it's going to be a blowout as some people are predicting. I think the Celtics are still going to claw their way back into it.
How depressing is it going to be if it is the Heat and Lakers and Jimmy Butler gets a chance to take down LeBron and it's not with the Bulls?
That's going to sting just a little.
That's going to hurt.
Absolutely.
Because we were wrong. It's very much time for Bulls fans, myself included. I was on the get rid of Jimmy train. Mm-hmm. I was wrong.
Yep.
I was wrong.
I'm with you, man.
He is an absolute star.
Yep.
And we missed the boat on that one.
Couldn't agree more. I was thinking the same thing earlier. Moving to baseball, we have the Cubs had a pretty solid week. They had Monday and Thursday off. They have a
huge one tonight.
2-game sweep of the Indians, and then tonight, as we're recording this, pick up a 1-0 win over a good Tigers team. White Sox did they take a split? No, they took 3. No, I'm sorry. They did take a split earlier this week from Minnesota, but fall to the Reds. As we're sitting right now, the White Sox have a 3-game lead in the AL Central, and the Cubs have, I want to say, a 5.5-game lead over the Reds. So it's looking good. We're getting close to the end of the season. Games are dwindling down, and obviously the White Sox have already clinched, so congrats to all the Sox fans' first playoff appearance since 2008, my junior year of high school.
They're a good team. They brought up that
the
first round pick from last year throws like 102.
Yeah, that'll be
gas out of the bed. So it's to throw your cards out on the table kind of move. I like it. I don't hate it from them.
I don't blame them for doing this, especially if you're all
why
in.
not?
Or,
Why not?
exactly.
If you're one of the best 25, get your ass up here at this point.
Yep. Amen. And in hockey, we are officially in the Stanley Cup. Maddie, we got the Stars and the Lightning both take care of business pretty easy in the conference final.
Boy, this
This
series is going to be a good one. I suggest tuning in every game, and I suggest also playing game one's over and seeing what happens. And I love the over. It's probably going to be sitting. My guess is 5.5. I'm guessing if you see it at 5.5.
Right now, I got it at 5.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
What's the plus money on 5.5? Are you able to check that out?
No, I just had the odds on here.
Let me try to grab that real quick. I want to get that real quick, but yeah, there's going to be goals. And the Islanders play a little bit of a slowdown game, and that's Tampa Bay can obviously do that. They're not afraid to get up and down the ice, and that's what Dallas is going to do too.
Definitely.
Both have good defensemen that like to get involved in the offensive game. So I think you're going to see a lot of goals. I think you're going to see a lot of goals early and often. It's the Stanley Cup final, so there's going to be some jitters, I think, especially in game one. Take the over for sure. See what happens from there.
And I don't know about you. I mean, seeing what Dallas did, I think Dallas played a better team in Colorado than the Islanders for Tampa Bay. Right now, looking at it, Tampa Bay is a minus 160 in game one. I'm thinking about taking the Stars money line there.
Yeah, I'm taking the Stars definitely. I'll probably take the Stars in the series too. But the over 5.5 that I mentioned switches your money to plus 120 all the way on DraftKings. So it goes from minus 140 at 5 goals. If you go to 5.5, if you give up the push, give up the push, you go to 5.5. It goes to plus 120. So it's really a really nice swing. I think that's an easy bet. I'm probably going to lock that in very, very soon.
Yep, I will have to get that in. College football is rolling. We saw games last weekend. Not obviously every conference, but the Big Ten is officially back. The weekend of October 24th, I believe, we're going to see the Big Ten make their comeback. They're playing a certain season, obviously. The MAC is actually holding a conference call on Saturday to talk about the possibility of playing a shortened season. So we'll see what happens there.
Can I just say, I worry about the MAC because I worry about the MAC not having the resources that the bigger conferences have. That's going to be an issue.
Yep. I mean, look what happened in Charlotte. I mean, Charlotte had a couple players test positive, and they had to cancel a big game with North Carolina because they didn't have enough linemen to play the game.
I'm all for trying to get back if you can, but you can't force it if you don't have the proper steps in place. So you really got to be on top of your stuff.
100%. Because think about it. I mean, there's some really, NIU is a good sized school. There's 20,000 plus kids, but like there's some smaller schools in the MAC that, might not have the resources and the, what it's going to take to make all this happen. So it'll be interesting to see how that phone call goes, but it does feel great to have football on Saturdays back as we lead into the NFL.
For sure. It absolutely does. There's going to be a lot more good games coming here when the SEC fires up next week.
For sure. And then obviously the NFL, we'll get into the pick show after our interview. But the NFL being back is a thing of beauty, man. Love it.
I had no issue with the fans being gone. I'm sorry.
I had not at all.
It did not.
And it was the weirdest thing.
It might make a difference. I'm sure it makes a difference for them. I really think it probably sucks a lot of the atmosphere when you're just walking into an empty field and it's just hollow in there with, no crowd, things like that.
Right.
It didn't hurt the TV experience. That's all I'm going to say.
I agree. There were times I didn't even realize that there weren't fans, especially when they had the cameras zoomed in on the fields, like you didn't even notice.
Yeah.
But then we also have the U.S. Open Championship. The leader right now is only at -4 after 2 rounds. Even 8 or tied for 12th place is over par, is 1 over. So
all I'm going to say is I need Patrick Reed. I need him to hold. I got a little ticket on
Patrick Reed is such a douchebag. I hate
it. I hate him too, but it doesn't mean I can't bet on him.
If you got money on it, let it roll. And this makes me mad. I'm in a draft league with buddies for all the majors and bigger tournaments, and I usually take Rafa Cabrera Bello, and I did it this weekend for some reason.
He's always so cheap. I always take him too.
And Harry English, who's my new favorite golfer. If you haven't seen videos of Harry English, go watch him because he's like the funniest golfer. He's like a second coming of John Daly.
I'm usually a big Finau guy too, and I backed off in this tournament. So,
of course, of course. But let's move into it. We got an interview, a local legends interview. Now, I will preface this. We recorded this a while ago. This is a little bit dated, but it's a good buddy of mine who I can't say enough about, a guy I've known since I moved to Mendota in second grade when I was 8 years old. I actually took his place when he left Holy Cross, the junior high I went to. He left, so they had a class opening. I moved in, took his place. We sat the bench our junior year of high school together on the basketball team, and now he's a very good friend of mine. So we're going to throw it to our local legends interview with my buddy Patrick Guilfoyle. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast. An area local legend from Mendota. He plays golf at IVCC right now. He's on to big things. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on Patrick Guilfoyle. Pat, how we doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing good. Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely, man. Great to have you down in the cave. It's been a while. So obviously we'll set this up early. Me and Pat go way back, probably like second grade, 1999-ish.
Yeah, about that. I mean, we've had a lot of time in the past.
Yeah, so it was one of those, and the reason that we had to get you on here was that you just signed to play golf at the next level. What's going on with that?
So I just signed on to play at Governor State University. That is a town about 25 minutes south of Chicago.
Awesome, man. That's fantastic. Now, you have a bit of a different story than maybe a lot of people that play college golf, and the fact that you're moving on to a four-year university, but that you even noted to it in your YouTube video with Governor State that you are quite a bit older. Like, what's been your path to get to where you are right now?
So I'm going to just be blunt. I hated school. I was that typical senior who just wanted to kind of play sports, so I gave it a shot for a year or two, and I didn't like it, so I left, and I decided to come back, and I was lucky enough that I could still play golf, and my back didn't give out at my old age, that I could swing it.
Knock on wood, right? I mean, we're 28 going on like 60 on some days. So let's go back. Like, where did you go to high school? We say you're from Mendota, but like, have you been a Mendota person your entire life? Like, what's your backstory?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Mendota. Mendota Trojans heart, purple and gold all the way. Graduated in 2009 with Boomy here, and from there, I mean, yeah, just never really moved out from that port.
So were you always a golfer? Like, what's been your like go-to? Have you been one of those guys? Like, I know kids that have been golfing since like they were like 5 or 6 years old, and they were playing in tournaments before they hit puberty. So when did you pick up golf?
So it was actually thanks to you and all of our friends in high school. I didn't actually start playing until I was a senior in high school.
That's super late for golf, I feel.
Yeah, it was definitely more of a recreational idea. I kind of wanted to just hang out with my buddies. And fun fact, I mean, I enjoyed it. I picked it up relatively quick, and I was able to walk on to the IV golf team the very following year as one of like the low walk-ons. But I was able to play and really just grow with my love for the sport.
It's so funny to me to even ask that question, because I know like. Did you play any fall sports besides golf? Did you go out for soccer or something?
I played everything. So my freshman year, I did soccer. My sophomore year, I did cross country. I was always a basketball nerd. I don't think I did anything my junior year, but then my senior year, I did golf.
Okay. Now, like I said, it makes me laugh because, and I'll just be brutally honest, you were a horrible golfer. I mean, you came out. I went out for golf my sophomore year, and Zach, you probably started golfing about as early as me, right? Picked it up like 7 or 8, riding around the cart with your dad.
Yeah, whenever I was little, I guess my dad probably got me a set of clubs when I was a baby.
Right,
but
exactly.
It's one of those things, and like it kind of goes to show that you don't always have to play something from when you're younger. And like you said with him, you kind of said it a little rudely.
But I mean,
but it's nice. Golf is one of those sports you can always work at. It's not like basketball where you got to do this and that, or football,
you
or
have
this.
To be a prodigy,
golf is one of those
almost.
sports you can go out all the time, just play by yourself, and get better at it.
I know, like, our biggest ploy to get you to come out to golf was, like, it was something to do senior year, and when Coach left, we took the carts out and went and smoked stogies all, like, for, like, 2 hours. I remember we, like, burned a hole in one of the golf carts, like, in the seat. So we would just, go to practice. And golf practice, I mean, was
go play like 5 holes and call it a day. So
I remember
you were
high
terrible.
school
You were lower than me on the JV roster our senior year, and now look at you. You're shooting under par. But you had said about going to Ivy. What you walked on there right away and you didn't stay. What happened there?
So yeah, I walked on. I was lucky enough that I was able to make the team. It was definitely on like the second to last spot. Definitely was great experience because I got to actually see really good golfers and really humble myself. But afterwards, I mean, it was the school side that really kind of drove me away. I was loving the sports side. Right. I was loving being an athlete, but I just wasn't in the mental mind state to actually go to school at that point in time. So I was really letting my grades kind of suffer.
So were you only there 1 year, the first run through?
I went to Ivy for a year and a half, and halfway through the second year, I just kind of ended it. And the second year, I decided not to go play the sport because it was such a struggle to either focus on grades or focus on the sport, and I really didn't have the ability at that moment to really balance that.
So shoot, man, you must have been like 19 or 20 when you first walked away from golf at the collegiate level?
Yeah, I believe I was 19. I think I was just.
And then when did you go back to Ivy?
So I went back to Ivy the fall of this year of 2018, I believe.
Okay.
And it was kind of a spur of the moment thing. I was working for Verizon at the time, and they had a program where they would help me out with schooling to further my career. And I really took advantage of that. Once I got there, I was a good friend of Corey Thomason, who I did things with him at the school. We'd always talk sports, good connections there. And he reached out to me and was like, hey, I've been watching your name pop up in local tournaments here and there. He's like, would you want to play golf if you're still eligible? And I told him absolutely. So we kind of took advantage of that. He offered me to basically help me with my tuition by going back. And that's kind of how that started.
So what did you do between, I know you said you worked at Verizon. Did you work at Verizon for like 8.5 years?
So I am a mobile retail S-word. I'll try to keep this PG-13 for these guys. I bounced around. I worked for AT&T for, I believe, almost 4 years. Moved around for them, was in the city a lot working for them, then went to Verizon, and then from here now I'm back and I'm going to be working for T-Mobile.
Dude, that's so wild to me that like you can step away from playing a game at a high level for 8 years and then like get back in. Were you playing golf that whole time? Were you like trying to get back? Did it ever cross your mind to go back and play?
It never crossed my mind to go back and play at the collegiate level. And like, if I'm being honest, I didn't think I was good enough to play at the collegiate level. I would play every once in a while, like when I'd have like a weekend, and I shot okay. A few over par here and there. I definitely like shoot about mid to low 70s. And
me and Zach don't know what that means.
Some days.
Mid to low 70s? Yeah, on like 13 holes.
Yeah. Beer's always nice, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, you're also playing let's be realistic here. When you're playing with buddies and like on the weekend, just having some nice cold drinks, you're not playing like tournament level rules or tournament level courses.
Yeah.
So I mean,
you got that extra 2-foot putt. Just pick it up, man. You already have an 8. Just pick it up.
Sitting in the sand, good.
Yeah, exactly. So you said, what's the plan going forward? You said about Governor State. You got probably 2 years of eligibility left.
Yeah.
What's the plan there?
Yeah, so I've got 2 years of eligibility. So I'm going to use both 2 years of eligibility to play at Governor State University. I absolutely love that campus. It was really nice to talk to that coach, find out kind of where my game stands, like being able to know that I'm kind of in between the Division II, Division I level. But just because of my age and playing that 1 year of college golf right out of high school, that kind of shot that in the foot. So I'm really appreciative of the NAI system and program.
That's awesome, man. I know I've heard of Governor State, but I didn't realize, that honestly, like being out here, I didn't realize it was as close as it is, and I didn't even realize it was an AIA. So that's so awesome.
You knew more about the school than I did. They showed up to a tournament, and this crazy bald-headed coach came up to me. He's like, "Hey, you're gonna
what I do?
You're gonna play after college?" I was like, I guess.
What are your plans after college? Because how many years you got? You can go there 2 years now, or
yeah. So I have 2 years, and I will finish with a double major in business management and education.
It's very cool. Like you said, I kind of had the same thing with school. It's one of those things that some points you just don't want to even go. You just and it's kind of nice.
College gives you that freedom to not go too.
Yeah, you can kind of step away for a minute, get your head right, and get everything ready in life, and then do it. Like as you said, took 8 years off of golf, and golf is also a nice sport. Like basketball, you take 8 years off, and you may not be able to get it back. Or
I take
football.
8 days off.
Golf is one of those things you can keep honing your skills, and it's kind of cool that they're. Like you said, and I saw the video you did. You said I had the experience, and that's really maybe going to help you on the golf course.
Yeah, the experience is definitely one thing that I could say it's going to be an edge. I mean, I've definitely not been one to not play in a tournament. So having that extra 8 years of playing golf is definitely going to help. But I've turned into a huge advocate, though, of like if one of my friends or family members say, hey, I think I want to step away or take a year off from school, I'm a huge advocate of it because now, like when I went back, the motivation, the drive, it was 100%. It's
got to be the same for you too.
I took time off. I didn't go back to school. I went to media school. It's nice you can find what you want to do.
Oh, exactly, and like that, it was great working into a career style field because I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like being where I'm at, I lost a lot of promotions just to some guy who had a piece of paper and I didn't.
Yeah.
And I mean, you do that enough, you're gonna want that piece of paper.
Yeah. It's one of those things you almost gotta get knocked down to get back up. It's one of those. It's also cool because then you get an opportunity to do golf, and then it helps kind of pay for school and stuff like that too. So that's also a cool way of going about it.
Absolutely. So let's get into these. We got some quick fire questions. So first off, where'd you go to middle school?
Northbrook.
Oh, good. In Mendota?
Yes, Northbrook Middle School.
Well, Holy Cross all day, every day. We did beat you in 8th grade. No, just wanted to remind you.
I was also at Holy Cross too for a little bit. You took my spot.
I took your spot when you got when you left. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Rips or sip and snack?
Oh, I gotta go sip and snack. Gotta go with the hometown.
Attaboy, good answer. That was a good one. All right, so we know the staple in the Illinois Valley is fried chicken and spaghetti, right? You go to any like banquet, it's chicken and spaghetti. So which one, gun to your head, you have to choose fried chicken or spaghetti. What's it gonna be?
Spaghetti.
Oh.
I think I would go. I like spaghetti. I like a good spaghetti with some.
I'm a meat guy though, and I like chicken.
I've been around this area too long. Fried chicken's fried chicken now.
It's kind of. I mean,
you do get burnt out on it.
But for fried chicken and spaghetti, that's a good meal.
Yeah, I was about to say, here's the real thing. You get that half and half or family style. It comes with spaghetti.
That's true.
Sometimes a half and half the ribs and chicken.
This has to be the only place in the country where it's like the two things that go together are fried chicken and spaghetti. Yeah. Like if that's not the
I don't think we're the only place. I think down south maybe a decision too.
I don't know, man. I mean, fried chicken obviously, but like they don't eat it with spaghetti. You know.
You said you played cross country. You played soccer, right?
I don't know if you really played cross country.
That was a bad way of saying that. Who was your biggest rival in high school?
So all the sports you played, who would you? Because I know who mine is.
All right, so I had a handful of them, but immediately for basketball, it was Chance here since we were riding pine together for a while, and
we played a combined like 8 minutes our junior year.
Hey, but how many fouls?
Oh, I led the
them.
nation in fouls my senior year.
He murdered them fouls. Cross country, I was fat and slow, so anybody.
That doesn't sound like a good combination.
So your rival was yourself.
Why do you think I went to golf? It's the only sport you can be fat and slow.
That's a valid point.
So anyone in front of me for cross country and golf. I mean, honestly, that was kind of a weird one. It had to have been Goy. Like Goy was probably like he didn't know it.
CFP Goy. Yeah.
He didn't know it, but he was definitely one of the rivals in my head just because I wanted to eventually be that good.
I developed a stupid rivalry in high school golf because there was a girl that played on the boys team at Streeter, and I was playing against her when I was on JV as a junior, and she was a freshman, and she whipped my tail. Like she shot like a 38, I shot like a 52. I hit her ball on the hole, and she called me out and gave me like a 5-stroke penalty.
I think you deserve.
From then on, like me and her, she didn't know it. She had no idea, but it was on. I did not like her for a long time.
And she was better than you.
Oh, way better.
So this might be my own thought on this one, but if anyone else would want to, I think we need to find this girl and have like a 9-hole showdown.
Oh, she'd probably still whip my ass.
She could take maybe 4 years off, and it sounds like she
could have taken 8 years off. And like they told me that like the way she was one of those like prodigy kids, I think, like that was supposed to be a really good golfer, had been playing golf for a long time.
And also you did break the rules. You're not supposed to hit somebody else's ball.
Listen, if I see a ball in the general vicinity of where my ball went, I'm probably just going to hit it.
I know, but in like high school, like the sport of
I
it,
was
like,
a junior on the JV team. All right,
it's still competitive. You still got to follow the rules.
You're not wrong.
The rules also say he just takes a penalty, so technically he followed one part of the rules.
Then she yelled at
Well,
you.
yeah, she was. Oh boy, she like went and told on me to the coach. I was not happy with her.
Someone's well deserved.
Oh, 100%. You've got to tell me, what's your favorite course in the entire Illinois Valley?
All right, so basic answer to that would be Oak Ridge. It's always upkept really well. But personally, my favorite course, if it was close to me, is Edgewood and McNabb. Love that course.
Oh, I did shoot pretty well there last
What was the
summer.
one I went? Is it Oglesby? Or I think it was. It was a really nice golf course.
That'd
it was
be probably Deer Park.
Deer Park.
Deer
Okay,
Park,
yeah. It has
yeah.
like the 18 holes, and I mean the bar inside is unbelievable.
That's what Zach said.
the locker room though. That is
That
the coolest part.
Dad love that when a golf course has a good old
It's
fashioned
like you're like
locker
going to
room.
like the Masters or something. It has like the cool lockers, and you can keep your shit in there.
That is pretty cool.
That would be my favorite part. Mendota
Who's
needs a
the
locker room.
best player when you were at IV that you ever played against?
Oh, Josh Gass. Like that.
Yeah.
That kid.
We got to get him on.
That kid was insane, even at when we were playing at IV, and he's just ever since then just kept stepping up his game.
Did he win the IV Open?
He won the IV Open like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And I mean the kid's got accolades out the butt.
That's awesome. He was a stud. I know he was in the hunt the one year I played in it. So, but we can go ahead and wrap things up. We're about the 15-minute mark. Gilly, thanks for coming on, man. We really appreciate it, and best of luck at Governor State University. You got a Twitter page?
I actually don't.
What?
I know it's
You
weird.
know it's 2019, right?
I live in the past, my man.
Oh my
And
god!
maybe that's not
you
the
still
worst.
got a MySpace, don't you?
That may not be
Don't
the worst.
answer that
That may
question.
not be the worst idea though.
No, stay on. Yeah, you probably live a lot. Like I'm up until like 11:30
I
at
just get
night
mad.
tweeting
I was
people.
today. I just got mad.
Mostly it's me and him tweeting back.
I got
each
mad
other.
at stupid shit today. Somebody I didn't even know said something. I was
Yeah.
just mad about it all day.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
I've thought about getting one myself, but I mean, I already juggle like 4 or 5 different ones. It's not.
Well, hey
it's not on
man,
the top of my
if you
list.
keep shooting under par, you're gonna have to get one. So when you make it to the PGA Tour, the folks can follow you there. So
I'll make it to the PGA Tour as a volunteer. Don't worry.
hey, that might be my only way.
however
in.
you can make it, you make it.
That might be my only way. in.
Caddy, whatever it takes.
Yeah, absolutely. But thanks again, Gil. We appreciate it, man.
Hey, no problem. Thank you for having me, guys.
Thanks so much to Gilly for coming on. It was great to have him and hear about what he's doing. He's, still chasing the golf dream, and it's a thing that, not everybody can say that they're still chasing, the dream of what they want to do. So shout out to my guy, Gilly. But let's jump into it. We have our local food spotlight. Maddie, I don't know about you, but I've been hunting restaurants, man. I've got a list that I made up in the Illinois Valley area. And I got to start with one me and my wife went to for our anniversary last week. And this is a new place in Peru called Sushi or Burger, or SOB or Sob, whatever you want to call it. Sushi or Burger in Peru. Absolutely incredible experience. The food was amazing. The atmosphere in there is very, very cool. Semi-modern, but also, has some really cool touches. They got the sushi bar, great music playing the whole time. It was just a very good vibe in there. We did a sushi roll, obviously. We did an appetizer, and I got the lobster mac and cheese. Oh my God, Matt, there was more lobster in there than you could find in one steamed lobster. It was incredible. So I can't say enough. Sushi or Burger is the name of the restaurant in Peru. Who do you got for us this week, Maddie?
I'm going to one, and I know I've talked about them before, but it's for a totally different reason this time, and it is for their pizza. It's Ramondo's Pub and Grill in North Aurora.
Okay.
But it's for a type of pizza service that they do that I didn't realize on their menu, and they're big into beers. They're like craft beers and things like that. They always have a ton on tap and ton like different cans from different local microbrews and stuff. So they do all kinds of flights, but they also do a pizza flight.
Oh,
Three 7-inch personal pizzas, like personal sized pizzas.
oh
And you
my!
get like
I've
one
never
of
heard
their
of this.
signatures. You get one of their signatures, and then you get two topping pizzas. So my wife is a big into those margarita pizzas. So we use the signature for her. I just want sausage and pepperoni, so I'm good with that. Got the sausage and pepperoni. Little man just likes cheese, so we got the cheese only for the third one. He ate a couple pieces off of that. It was perfect. And then, You know, like we got like a small like we wanted their Hawaiian because it's really good. They use like a barbecue sauce on their Hawaiian, really good there too. So we got the mix of like a little bit of everything we wanted. We have tons of leftovers. Really good price too, dude. And it's just like it's a cool place in there. It really is. The pizza's just outstanding.
How have I never thought of pizza flights?
Yeah,
That's
it's
genius.
phenomenal.
That's such a good idea.
It's 7-inch personal pizzas, and it's like I said, it's one of their signature, and then two toppings. It's $16 for the three of them.
That ain't bad at all.
No,
and you get to try a little bit of everything, and everybody gets what they like.
Exactly.
That's
like
genius.
For us, it was perfect because my kid's not even going to eat a full one. So it's like I ate mine, my little personal pizza. I had a couple off his. Had a piece of the Hawaiian. We got a ton in the fridge for like the weekend or Monday lunches and stuff. So it's like, yeah, we're set to go. Great place, man. Really.
That's awesome. Going back to the sushi or burger place, and I know a lot of people I've heard from, they're like, oh, I don't like sushi. I don't like sushi. But first of all, you're wrong. Sushi is amazing. I love sushi. But they have kind of like modern twist sushi. Like they have I want to say it's like a cheeseburger sushi. I keep saying sushi, so I keep saying it wrong. But they have like all these kind of like not a ton of them, but they have like 5 or 6 different options for people that might not normally get down on traditional raw fish sushi. So it's definitely worth a try, and I definitely got to come up and try this place you're talking about, Maddie. What'd you say it was called again?
Raimondo's, Raimondos.
Okay, awesome,
outstanding place.
All right, as always during the NFL season, we have our picks show on the Thursday night game. Me and Zach both took the Cincinnati Bengals plus 6.5. Matt unfortunately took Cleveland minus 6.5. So me and Zach are up 1 on him this week. But I got to tell everybody,
can we get to that bad beat section and talk about that?
We'll save it for that. But Matt is actually in first place. Matt went 6-0 last week. So don't just cruise over Maddie's picks. You should probably listen to what he's saying. Zach went 5-1. His only loss was on the Giants on Monday, and I went 4-1-1 with a push in, I don't even remember what game. I think it was the Chargers game. But we're all above 500. So let's go ahead, Maddie. Let's jump into the noon games, and we'll run. We got Zach on the phone. We'll run him at the end to go through all of his picks. Like you said, couldn't be with us tonight. We miss him dearly, but we did get his NFL picks in. With my picks, my noon games, I'm going to take Dallas. Dallas is -4 at home versus the Falcons. The Falcons are trash. Dump the Falcons. They are frauds. They went and made all these moves. They added some pieces, and they stink. Get rid of the Falcons. Give me the Cowboys -4. And I'm also taking Green Bay -6.5. It's at home. The Lions are trash as well. Aaron Rodgers is on his pissed off tour, and I'm okay with that. So let's go Packers -6.5 and the Cowboys -4 in our 2 noon games. What do you got for us, Maddie?
Noon games. All right. I'm going to Philadelphia for one, and Miles Sanders is back. That line started out as Philadelphia was a 3.5-point favorite, and money just started getting pounded on the Rams. Mm-hmm. That's a good sign, in my opinion. If everyone's pounding the Rams, I want to go the other way. That line's already been knocked down. Philly's a 1-point favorite now. If that thing keeps even going further, look out. But I don't know. I think Philadelphia is a better team than they obviously looked last week against Washington. I think the Rams were a beneficiary of a lot of questionable play calling and decision making by Mike McCarthy.
Definitely.
I think the Rams were very, very lucky to win that game in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. And I think the Eagles were somewhat kind of like they dealt with a lot of injuries. I think Lane Johnson's back this week too as well. Miles Sanders is a bona fide stud, and he's going to be a difference maker for them big time. I really, really like the Eagles this week in that noon slot. The other one, it's the Miami Dolphins. They're an interdivision home dog. It's a team it's a spot I always look for. It's like one of the first things I always look for is any interdivision home dog in a week. 5.5 points. I really think it's going to trickle up more. I'd love to see that thing get over 6 or at least to a full touchdown at 6. I don't know. I think Miami at home is going to give Buffalo some problems. Buffalo was very, very
Careless.
shaky. I mean,
Yep.
they beat the Jets, and like it's like okay, they beat the Jets. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
don't
And they didn't even
I'm
bury him the way they could
I'm
have.
a big Brian Flores fan, and it always seems like Buffalo travels to Miami so horribly bad, and it's like they always go to South Beach and play like dog shit. So I'm
Yeah,
jumping on Miami in that noon slot as well.
good choice there. I don't hate that at all.
And
In
I
the
got
3 o'clock
5.5
game,
right now. Sorry.
right on, man. No worries. 3 o'clock games. Give me the Baltimore Ravens going on the road to take on the Texans. I just think Baltimore is, if they're not the best team in the AFC, they're the second best. I think Houston really showed a lot of holes last week in their inability to score. Don't get me wrong. Deshaun Watson is good. David Johnson's having a good year so far. But there's so many, and their defense is still pretty good. There's so many holes in that team that I think as long as Lamar Jackson can stay upright and stay on his feet this year, they're going to be super dangerous. I mean, Mark Andrews looks like the best tight end in the NFL right now.
That dude,
He's got so many weapons, and I mean, I think they have J.K. Dobbins even running the ball right now. So they're unbelievable. I'm going with the Ravens -7 on the road. Maddie, who you got?
piggybacking Zach. I love the Chiefs until the Chiefs lose and or don't cover a game because that's all they do is win and cover. And I think it's like 10 straight games that they've won and covered as well.
Yeah.
I'm not going to fade them. They're the best team in the league. They're under 10 points as a favorite. It's 8.5 right now against the Chargers. Tyrod Taylor stinks.
Yeah. That experiment can't last long. At some point,
no.
they're going to have to throw Herbert in there.
They're gonna have to go. They're gonna have to go to him, and I shouldn't say stinks. He's not within 10 points of Patrick Mahomes though.
No,
that's just a fact. I don't care if it's in LA or wherever I know it's in LA, but the Chiefs are an unstoppable force right now,
Yep.
and the Chargers just don't have the dogs. I don't think to keep up.
I'm with you. Let's jump to the Sunday night game. We have the Seahawks at home hosting the Patriots. Seahawks -4. You know what? I wanted to go away from it. I think that Belichick is always, it doesn't matter if he's got Tom Brady. I think he can dial it in, but man, Seattle looks good. Seattle was my early pick to win the NFC, and I'm going to ride with them. Give me Seattle -4 at home. I know they're not going to have, the lead or the 12th man out there, but this team is very, very well put together. I think they're a very good football team, and I just don't know if the Patriots have kind of have everything down yet. I think they still even showed late in the game against Miami that they're not completely all there. So let's see. I think it's going to take a little bit more time, but we'll wait and see what happens. But give me Seattle.
Definitely agree with you 100%. I really like Seattle this week. I think I'd bet them up even higher than probably up to 5 or 5.5 points at home. I just think Russell Wilson's just damn near unstoppable right now, and he's playing at such an efficient level. The Seahawks I think you're right. I think they're going to miss the crowd a little bit, but home cooking's home cooking still.
Yeah, and New England's got to fly completely across the country.
In New England, yes, I think Cam Newton was impressive in a lot of ways, but let's not act like they were world beaters last week.
If he was that impressive, they would have throttled the very average Miami Dolphins.
Right.
And they didn't. Right. It was a 10-point game.
Right.
So I think it's going to be a very different week going to Seattle as compared to playing the Miami Dolphins. Let's jump to Monday night. We have the Las Vegas Raiders playing their first game ever in Allegiant Stadium, hosting the New Orleans Saints. The Saints are 5.5-point favorites. I'm with Zach here as well. I think the Raiders are not that bad. They picked up a good win. I don't think Carolina's good. We're all on Vegas and New Orleans. They beat a very new, very hastily put together Buccaneers team that didn't, they just didn't show me that much. And I think that there's a lot behind what John Gruden is doing there and kind of hyping these guys up that, they're starting something brand new. And this is going to be the first game to ever play in this new stadium. I wouldn't be surprised if they pull out a win in their first game ever at Allegiant.
Thomas is out, so the best receiver in the game is
which reminds me, I need to take him off my fantasy team.
Yeah, so you start losing guys like that, and the Saints become a much different animal. I think it always seems like Gruden's good for like an early season prime time just performance where he just wills the team to a win. He's
Yeah.
walking with swagger on the sidelines, and he's got the cockeyed smile with the half eye closed. It's just like he's gonna have one game where he's just popping. And it's just
why not use that in the first game ever in
swagger,
Vegas?
and it's gonna happen. Vegas, I'd probably take money line at home. The first NFL game in the gambling mecca of the world. I think I'm going to lean towards Vegas in that one.
I love it. I love it. That is our NFL pick. Make sure you check that out. That will be also out on its own video on YouTube. So check that out. And like I said, make sure you follow Maddie. Even last week undefeated. So maybe ride those picks, ride the wave with Matt. Let's move to a new segment. This one came to me when I was driving in the car. And I have to give mine because this is what spurred this segment. And anyone who's ever bet sports knows how this can go. And this is bad beats. So this is like the worst bets that we've placed. It can be recently. It can be ones you remembered. But like I said, this came to me because of one I placed last week. Thanks to Matt, I joined a couple different sports books as they opened in Illinois. And they gave boosted odds for the over in the Clippers Nuggets. I want to say it was like game – I don't even know, 3 or 4, whatever it was. It was at 220.5, and it was like plus 300. And I'm like, oh, this is going to hit. These teams can score. And granted, they tried their best, but they finished 40 points away from the over. They scored 180 points combined. So I was 40 points off of that over. And but I almost prefer those where, like, at halftime there's no way this is ever going to hit. And you just see that live number just keep dropping and dropping to the, you get to the low 200s and it's the 190s. And you're like, what is going on here? And then but there's no, like, disappointment at the end because you kind of you can only laugh about it because it was so bad. But yeah, losing an over by 40 points in the Western Conference semifinals is kind of a kick in the nads.
Yeah, that one stings a little bit. Losing games like the other night with the Browns, it's like they were the right side that whole game. They were covering the whole game, and it's like they gave up the late score to, I think it went to 4 points, I think, at that point.
Yep.
And then they turned around and scored again. So it's like, okay, all's well in the world. They're covering again. And sure as hell, Joe Burrow just marches them down the field. It's what games like that. Those are just such a kick to the balls. And it's, there's nothing you can do but just swallow it. And I don't even know if that's necessarily considered a bad beat. It's probably debatable if it is. Like, the bad beats are when it's like the team's like covering and they're dribbling out the clock, and the other team just throws up a half quarter just like out of like sheer shits and giggles.
And it falls.
And it falls, yeah.
That's a good point. I don't hate that at all. So that was bad beats. I'm sure this will be a reoccurring theme as much as we all love to gamble. And I'm sure if Zach was with us, he would have some crazy ones too, because Zach has had some bad beats. But let's move on to another new segment. Me being the history dork I am, this one came to me. And this is called Time Traveler. So we're going to throw it out. Me and Matt are going to give there's going to be 4 different categories, and it's if you were able to get a time machine, travel back in time, different things that you would attend. So the categories are a sports moment or game to attend, one concert or musical event, and one historical event, and then one random. So it could be like any additional ones with those, parameters or anything back in history you want to travel back and see. Do you want me to start, Matt?
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to go a little off. Category. I'm going to go a little off the beaten path. There's so many good ones. And this is something we're going to have to do multiple times because there's so many different ones. And this has probably got to be something that we weren't alive for, I would assume. Or I guess you can't even say that because it could be something like if I was 6, I wasn't going to go to a Bulls game when I was, 3 years old. But I'm going to go way back. Sports moment I wish I could attend back in history. And this was when I was alive. I could have been there. But it was that 8 overtime game between, was it Syracuse and UConn in the Big East Conference finals or semifinals?
Yeah.
That would be an instant one I would go back to because I remember watching that game on television and I could feel the energy of the game in person, just imagine what it would be like there. And it finished at 1:30 in the morning Eastern time, because I know it was super late here in Illinois. Give me that. Jerry McNamara, I think, hit the dagger and then jumped on the table and gave the old, chest pound.
Madison Square Garden is just like a host to just so many games like that where it's just
yes.
It's just so many legendary Big East like battles.
And then you get Jerry McNamara. You got like pictures of Muhammad Ali
Scranton's
and probably like
I'm pretty sure he's from Scranton.
Is he really?
Yeah, I believe so.
You got literally like some of the greatest art. Michael Jackson's played Madison Square Garden, and I think the Pope has been there. And then you have Jerry McNamara from Syracuse standing on a score stage, pounding his chest. All right, Maddie, you get to pick any of those 4 categories. What are you going to go first?
All right. Let's see, concert. I'm probably going to say. I'm not going to take all of Woodstock because I wouldn't want to be there the whole time. I don't think.
You got to go to one day.
I want to go. I want to see Jimi Hendrix at Woodstock. That would be numero uno for me.
That's a good choice.
No questions asked.
That is like you said, that's a good point. You don't want to be at Woodstock because it was not a great time. It was in the middle of August.
Like, people don't talk about that. There was like people were sicker than hell. The weather was just dog shit. Like, it was just chaos for 3 or 4 days. But you give me Jimi Hendrix's set at that show, all's right in the world in my book.
Great choice. I don't hate that at all. There's a lot of good, a lot of older school concert moments, and I'm going to dip into mine here. I actually am going to go Woodstock, but I'm going to go. They redid. I think it was Woodstock '99. Remember how much of a terrible shit show that was?
I do. I remember it very well, actually.
I want to go there just to see how I would take, obviously, like cases and cases of water and sell them for whatever they were selling, whether like $10 a bottle.
Oh, for sure.
Just pay for your ticket, but take enough water for yourself and just watch all the chaos ensue.
Yep.
I remember that was one of my first memories of MTV. Was that like they cut to that the one guy that looks like Flea from Red Chili Peppers, and they cut to him and like shit's burning in the background.
Yeah. Let's see. It was Marilyn Manson had just a crazy show, if I remember correctly. I think 9 Inch Nails went at one point. Pretty sure Rage Against the Machine was there. Like, it was just like that would be a very, very good show. Weather there at that one too was absolutely a disaster too. So
it rained the whole time, didn't it?
Yeah, pretty sure it rained most of it, if not the whole time.
Because I remember one of the first ones I remember seeing. I think Green Day had played there, and there was a video of one of the guys in Green Day just playing along with one of his songs, and a mud clot hits him right in the hand as he's strumming his guitar, and he doesn't miss a beat, and he just playing. It was one of the coolest things I've seen in a long time.
That's a pretty baller move, really.
That is, I mean, that's just like, hey guys, just so you know, I'm cooler than all of you.
Right.
I want to go through, Matt, real quick, and you'll appreciate some of these. So it's the album that they made from Woodstock '99, when they do like the compilation albums. I just want to go through some of the bands involved in this. Korn, The Offspring, Lit, Buck Cherry, Kid Rock, Limp Bizkit, Rage Against the Machine, Metallica, Creed, Sevendust, DMX, Godsmack, Megadeth, Bush, Live, Chili Peppers, Dave Matthews Band, Jewel, Everlast, Everclear, Sheryl Crow, Alanis Morissette, The Roots. The list goes on, man. Holy cow!
Literally, like all of the '90s, perfectly wrapped up into one.
The '90s. Give me all that. Give it straight. Hook it into my veins.
Yep.
All right, who's your second rounder?
All right, I'm gonna go. This is hard. This is really hard.
It is.
Historic event. I'm going to go with VJ Day, Victory Japan Day. I want to go be in Times Square when the Japanese surrendered in the Pacific Ocean.
And World War II was finally over.
World War II ended, and Times Square, New York, erupted into one giant party with everybody just going absolutely crazy, getting just absolutely wrecked in the streets for 48 hours. The picture of the sailor making out with the chick in the middle of the street, like just dude walked up to her, she's just celebrating, they just make out in the street, they carry on like nothing ever happened. It's just one of those things, like just absolute pure joy from that many people and just everybody like kind of just being happy in one giant mass of people for one thing, you know.
That always seems like one of those days where like everybody forgot their problems, you know. And obviously you can't say everybody, but it just feels like one of those days where the whole country just forgot all the crappiness that was going on in their life. Like they might have lost someone in the war, and then they get to celebrate that we're not in this war anymore.
It's done. And it's like there was a point in World War II when it wasn't a guarantee that the Allied powers were going to win it. So it wasn't like just some foregone conclusion that it was just a matter of time. So it was a big deal. And
For
it's
sure.
like, you know, just the joy on people's faces when you see those clips and things like that. It's just like, give me a slice of that for 24 hours.
That's a good choice. I don't hate that at all. I'm going to go with my historic event as well. And this is one I've always been kind of fascinated with. I want to be somewhere in a large group of people when the spaceship landed on the moon, because obviously, you know, it's like it'd be a lot different now. We'd have like gathering parties if that was happening today. But like to be with a big enough group of people that like knew what was going on and knew the severity of it and like celebrated it, I'd be all for that. That's another one where you feel like the whole country kind of came together.
Everybody knew where they were. Like you hear from our parents and grandparents or whoever, everybody knew where they were when we landed on the moon. And like you think it was such a just an event that was like just a statement of world like dominance and power that we're able to do this. You know, look at what we did. Look at what we did when we landed a ship in a cargo yard in New Mexico. And
enough of that, Maddie.
All the conspiracy theorists out there. No, I'm totally not on that page. I'm kidding.
For sure. No, I'm with you. But like that just seems another one. Like there was a lot of crap going on in the 60s, you know, all the, you know, racial tensions and everything. And then it feels like, you know, for one day that everybody just, you know, kind of dropped what they were doing and remembered. And we'll definitely do this again because there's so many moments. But the other one, like the march from Selma, that would have been, I mean, the massive grandiose of that, and obviously the historical impact. That was one I had on my list. And the other one was that I put, this is kind of weird, but like I would go to the place where they set off the nuclear bomb and just be like, hey guys, if you're going to do this, like just make it a one-off. Like we don't need all this nuclear tension for the next 65 years.
Right. Yeah, let's maybe mediate that a little bit.
Yeah. Or another one would have been good, like the Oval Office during the Cuban Missile Crisis would have been interesting.
My God, to be a fly on the wall in that room. Holy cow.
Hearing those conversations. I can't even, probably wasn't the Oval Office, probably the War Room, but like
wherever those conversations were taking place with like McNamara and Kennedy's and you know, all of like just give me totally. That movie was great too, by the way, that 13 Days.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Unbelievable. My random do you have your random or your
well,
fourth?
I think what did I do? I get concert, historic event. I still need a random and a sports moment. I still need two of those. So I think sports moment. I'm going to take the easy way out. I think I'm going to take the '85 Bears, the Super Bowl in New Orleans. I'm going to take that. I'm going to take New Orleans. I want to be there in person. I want to see that. I want that party in New Orleans. In January, the Bears winning their first Super Bowl with an absolute dynamite electric team, just dominated their way through the NFL. So I think I'm going to go with that one.
That's a good choice. My random, I'm going to go with September 23rd, 1908. And that was the day that Merkel's boner happened. You don't know what Merkel's boner is. Yeah, boner. I know Zach's not here to get the chuck with, so he'll definitely chuck with when he's editing it.
I'll take care of it for him. Don't worry.
But if you don't know what it is, Fred Merkel committed one of the biggest boneheaded moves in baseball history. He failed to advance to second base on what should have been the game-winning hit in the World Series against the Cubs. The game was suspended and because he never touched the base, so they appealed it, and the mob had already come off of the crowd and had stormed the field, so the game had to be resumed. The Cubs win the game. The Cubs go on to beat the Giants, move in to win the World Series, and we had to wait 108 years after that. So That would be insane to see, like just what's going on. Why are the Cubs protesting this? The crowd's already on the field, and then to see the ensuing time after that where the Cubs come back and eventually win their World Series. So that's going to be my random one.
Random for me. I'm going to pick when the TV was first created.
Good choice.
When it first fired up and somebody realized, holy shit, I can do, like, we can broadcast animated picture. Like,
that's a good one. Like that transition from radio to that.
Right. When you're going straight audio and now I can actually present a live video feed of something to the world. Like, I think when you figure out how to do that or how to just communicate in an instant with live image animated like that in a time when, like, things just didn't happen that quickly, I think being in the room when that happens, I think would just be fascinating. Like, there's so many other ones too.
Right.
You know, when you could go back to when.
Well, especially now, because you'd be like, this thing, what just happened in front of me, is going to change the course of history.
Right. I mean, you can say that about Facebook, really. You can say that about Zuckerberg and Harvard, that when that happened, that changed the world in a lot of ways.
That's true.
But I just think, like, with everything in video and all of it stems to TV.
Yeah.
At some point, even the internet, even video presentation here, stems back to what we did with television in the early stages.
Right. No, I think that's a good. And for as much as we watch TV and Netflix, and like, it all started, and even what we're doing now, you know,
it's ingrained into culture. It's ingrained into our culture at this point. Screens are what we have. Like, it's their gateway to the rest of the world.
Yeah, you nailed it, man. There's so many. Like I said, I'm more of a recent U.S. history guy. That was what I studied. I was a history major in college. Basically, a lot of stuff from like 1865 on. So there's a lot of those in that time frame, and just so many. I mean, just different things, and even there's weird like family connections. You know, like I had two uncles that fought. You know, in the Middle East in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, you know, stuff like that. And, you know, the oil fields, and like, there's so many weird connections. So we're going to have to do this again. And we'll have to get Zach's opinion on some of these, because we could literally do one forever. But as we move on, that is all we have. I don't know what I'm talking about. Moving on, man. We nailed everything.
Flew by.
So
I was almost waiting for a wacky web story, but it's not a daily show. So
did you listen to the one I had, would have been Thursday?
No.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to have to go back and check it out.
Well, I'll give you a brief synopsis. Guy got his nuts shot off with a rubber bullet gun from a protest. Yeah.
Boy.
You're just out there, you know, protesting, doing your thing, you know, and then boom, you're down one soldier. That's tough.
Oof.
That's a tough way to end a protest.
Sure is.
That was episode 80. Thanks, as always, to Matt for being on. It was our first solo show without Zach. We missed him, but, man, it was good. It was great just having the old guys on.
Yeah, he needed a break. He needed a break. He deserved it, all the hard work he puts in, chopping the show up. Can't give him too many compliments. Hopefully cuts this part out. So.
Yeah, exactly. No, he's definitely got to cut this out. I need to go through YouTube sometime and figure out how much content we have done between all the daily podcasts, the food reviews, the travel videos. Like, the videos have to be in the 200s. I mean,
I can only imagine.
We're almost to year 3, so it's been a while. But like I said, that was episode 80. Thanks to our guest, Patrick Guilfoyle, for coming on for our local legends interview. Thanks to Zach for calling in with his picks. Like I said, make sure you ride with Matt. He's 6-0 so far. He's got the hot hand. Or if you think he's going to go the other way, fade him.
Fade me.
Yeah.
I don't need the stress.
Yeah, but we don't need those DMs like, hey, dude, I followed your picks. And you went,
way to go, scumbag.
Yeah, exactly. What do you mean? Zach went 5-1 and you went 1-5. You followed the wrong guy.
Exactly.
Oh, man. But make sure you head over to 26shirts.com Chicago. They have some of the coolest merch. Like I said, Matt's got a shirt. Me and Zach got a bunch. Can't rave enough about them. You can get hats, hoodies, flags. Just like I said, 26shirts.com/Chicago. Get whatever you need and use the promo code Typical Chicago Fans for 15% off your order. If you love our show, love great Chicago merch, you can't go wrong at 26shirts.com/Chicago. And make sure you send us your DMs on any of our social medias that you've used our promo code, because we're running a giveaway right now for a couple free shirts. So make sure you send us those. And if you're growing the socials, man, we're growing every day. On YouTube, you can subscribe to us there. Get all of our content in video form.
Amazon soon, if we're not there already.
Yeah, we got to check Amazon Podcast. Apparently, that's a thing now. So subscribe, rate, and review Apple Podcasts. Follow us on Spotify, Spreaker, Google Podcasts. Make sure to follow the main page at Typical_Chicago on Twitter. And make sure you blow those social medias up, because me and Zach, we might have to get Matt in on this. Me and Zach have set some milestones on social media. And if we hit these milestones, there may be a little TCF tattoo bet in the future. So
boy.
We will see what happens. I'm all for it. So, but we'll announce that at another point. But like I said, all social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at BoomyTCF. Make sure you follow Zach at ZLiliaTCF. Tell him you missed it. Tell him that you missed him on the show today. And make sure to follow Matt at schools_01. And like I said, the page at Typical_Chicago. That was episode 80. We love you all.
Peace.